What's going on here? That's all the names, isn't it? Just going round there.
It's just some of the names.
Is it? They're doing me speeches over there, are they? Yeah, no, I mean over there. They're doing speeches over there. It's going to be a bit of a nuisance when I stand on it. So, I don't know quite what to say about this one. I thought I was coming down for the women's protest, and I've come down for Mothers Against Genocide, which I wasn't prepared for, but see what they're saying.
Omar Yusef Abu Malik, Salem Mutaz Bala Salem Abu Sawaka, Jodi Hasham Awaida Abu Baza, Safa Khalid Jihad Abu Jabara, Ado Yu Aud Abu Labada, Ala Al-Din Abu Al-Hamid Basan Al-Khaif, Hajid Diab Awad Abu Etew, Musa Ibrahim Muhammad Al-Aidi, Adil Rami Adel Jaber, Lamaya Mued Asul Afana.
So there's a major problem about wait till I just turn this round and I'll speak. There's a major problem about them doing outside the Scottish Parliament, and apart from the banning of arms, this shocking, David, they won't do it on Saturday. Well, it's not even about whether they do it on Saturday. Hamza has made many speeches about Gaza and hardly any about what his job is. Bumza has done many speeches about Gaza and about what's happening over there. Now, whether or not, that's not really the point. The point is that in the Scottish Parliament, foreign relations is not devolved, so he doesn't have any legislative right to actually be talking about the situation that's happening over there. That's a reserved matter for the MPs. So by sort of protesting here, there is probably limited things. I think Baldy John and the fake nationalists stopped arms suppliers or did something with arms suppliers here. And to be honest with you, the situation between the Israelis and the Palestinians cannot really be, it can be limitedly interfered with from up here, but there's not really a mechanism, a legislative mechanism for us getting involved. What the hell's that? For us getting involved in other wars, because we couldn't. Let me just try and open this up and get me down a bit. We can't interfere. We can't send an army. We can't do any real foreign affairs from in here. So you can lobby the Scottish Parliament all you want for foreign affairs, but it's not really going to help because it's not a devolved matter. And this is the issue. There is no foreign policy that's coming out of this building now. As I said, Baldy John has I think, put blocks on any arms dealing. Thank goodness they can't. It would be even more horrendous. So I think, Baldy John has put blocks on military companies that are providing arms to Israel that are coming out of Scotland. But that's not, and they can maybe put I think he put the Palestinian flag at St Andrew's, up at St Andrew's house. But that's not what they're there for. They're there to put legislation in for Scottish people. They're not there to debate the rights and wrongs of the world. That's not their job. It's not. It's just not their job. It's a bit like local councils putting up trans flags and gay flags and things. That's not their job. Their job is to collect the bins. There is prescribed. I swear honestly, Ukraine flag and Ukraine flags. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the rights and wrongs of the actual conflict. It doesn't matter if I, David Ballantyne, personally agreed with one side or t'other. It's not their job. They've got the powers for foreign affairs defence is not in this building, and it's not with any, regardless of the political affiliation of the MSPs. It's not within their remit. Now they can comment on it, but they shouldn't really be commenting on it because it's not their remit. It's nothing to do with them. And by protesting out here, there's certain things that you could potentially get from other services that are provided. Like Baldy John's flying in Gazans, same with the horrible individuals in the Labour Party. And flying in more Gazans, they haven't told us about the first lot, and now they say, oh, we're flying in more Gazans. And then the Labour Party are telling you that the people who have came here have got more rights than you. People who have came in boats illegally have got more rights than you. Welcome to Britain 2025, where you are paying for your own ethnic cleansing by the scum in the Labour Party and to a lesser extent the SNP, but two cheeks of the same asshole who are backed if they keep doing all the nonsense they are doing. They don't have their job and are sorry, I missed that, John. And you're paying for your own demise. You're paying for your own obliteration, whether it's through what they're saying in the universities or what other people are saying. People have immigrated here. Immigrants are saying here with the hole in its palace. With the hole in its palace. Don't know what that means. But the fact is that I tried to say to Craig Houston and Bring the Noise, John Watt, that this is Guerilla TV has been going for 8 years and it's been shadow banned. We've got 100 views. There's people getting thousands and thousands, just on thousands of views. We get 100 views and we're talking about some of the most important things in Scottish history and relating to Scottish people. 100 views. Now, 100 people would flick on it accidentally. 100 people would get on it accidentally, easily. They can't stop the baby gorillas, that's right. So, it's they literally can't stop us paying the building your own prison. Yeah, paying to build your own prison, that's exactly right. It's exactly correct. That's what it is. We might as well be paying to actually pay for the wood for our own funeral pyre. That's what we're paying for. And I'm sorry for the people. It's not, even though Islam is highly questionable, and there's been atrocities done by everybody, including especially the Muslims, but there has been atrocities done by everybody. And these children, I think there's children's names, so I didn't stand on any of the children's names for a bit of respect, because I've actually lived with a Palestinian guy. I don't think people know that. I employed him and we stayed together. He went on to work in a bank. He was very successful. A lovely fella, love him to death. And I've also got Jewish friends as well. That grey hire, grey horrific cowshed should be turned into a museum. SNP horrors, crimes against the people. Yeah, the crimes against the people. Of course it is. Of course it is. It's not. I don't see. You can't even blame the whole of the SNP. The SNP started off as a reputable organisation. Certainly, especially amongst the higher echelons of the SNP, that's highly questionable. Highly questionable. And now we've got fucking Beaker out the Muppets, the head of the Green Party. A guy that's definitely questionably on puberty blockers. Isn't it? I don't know if he's just queer. If he's just queer for you can come on if you want, mate. Queer for Patrick Harvey. You should come on with that suit, mate. You're looking fantastic. From the 90s, the SNP turned into what is going on. It's not, see, I was trying to tell this, there has been suggestions of a mass non-payment of council tax. We have something drastic, Dave. Yeah, don't pay your council tax. Listen, I'm a libertarian. I believe in the empowerment of the individual, not the state. I believe in the empowerment of the individual. I'm not. My politics are totally different. I'm not interested in getting wee nippy to tell me whether I had a family, what should get in a fucking baby box. I'm not interested in the state telling me what I should and shouldn't say. Fuck them. Fuck them. And a bunch of fucking authoritarians. And they're getting paid by your wages. So if you don't pay the council tax, if you don't pay X, they're going to go down in the whole world of pain. And also they can't grow the economy because they're a bunch of scummy socialist cunts. They're all going fucking, they can't grow the economy. This is all left-wing politics. It's all intrinsic to left-wing politics. They can't grow the economy because they've never had to grow the economy. They're trying to say, oh, the workers grow the economy. The workers don't, it's the entrepreneurs that grow the economy. The workers work for them. It's the people who have got vision who actually grow the economy. That's where the growth is. Somebody does a great job as a doctor. He's a brilliant doctor, absolutely fantastic. And I have to say, I've been very impressed with a lot of the doctors and nurses over the years. But he's a brilliant doctor and nurse. What he does is prevent me from being sick and me actually contributing to innovations that actually then progress society. The workers then get employed by the entrepreneur and they then pay taxes and maybe even share in what the entrepreneur develops. So because they give to the project, it's the project that's then developed and then creates taxation. None of these arseholes have ever done it. Did all MSP ignore the women's rights protesters today? I know Glasgow Media, I'm really pissed. I came down here because of the women's rights and I keep missing the women's rights. It's unbelievable. If there's one demo that I've consistently missed, it's the women's rights. It's the TERFs. Fabian want to wreck the private sector, of course, because they're a bunch of communists. And there's many, including Starmer, including that doughball Lammy, who are all part of it. They're secret commies. Or some not so secret, but they're all Peter Hitchens before the election, and I told you Starmer was a scumbag, said that he was a Pabloist, which is a subset of Trotskyism, which is a subset of Marxism. He's a communist. I mean, how many? Listen, let me explain something. I think we all know I've been about politics for years and years and years now, and. Yes, he's a weirdo Pabloist, yeah. I've never met an open Nazi, right? An open Scottish National Socialist. I've never met him. I've never met an open National Socialist in the UK. I'm not saying there isn't anyone, but I personally have not. Nobody has come up to me and said, hey, by the way, Dave, I am a neo-Nazi or a Nazi or I support Hitler or I'm right back in Hitler. Or likewise, or fascism. I'll support Giovanni Gentili and I support fascism. I've not met one. But what I have met is many Marxists that think, oh well, and don't forget, both National Socialism and fascism came out of Marxism. Came out of those schools initially, because they preceded fascism and National Socialism, which started in the early 20th century. They were already Marxism and Engels were already started their ideologies in the 19th century. So they'd already predating that. So they came out of it. So that's why the Marxists and the communists all say about fascists and Nazis, because you get a hybrid and a schism. And National Socialism and fascism, well, fascism was a schism, and National Socialism was probably a hybrid, like the Nazbogs, the National Bolsheviks, which would have been a hybrid between communism and National Socialism. So that's the two things, schisms and hybrids. But as I said, I've never met somebody who has literally said to me, in all my time covering doing this, I'm actually a literal Nazi or neo-Nazi, and I've never met somebody that says I'm literally a fascist or a neo-fascist. But I have met many people in Scotland who have told me without a categoric doubt that they're a Marxist, who have killed more people than the Nazis. As if the Islamists and the Marxists have ever been the good guys. I mean, you have to be on drugs to be thinking that. And yet now we've got a Trotskyist, Pabloist, communist in number 10. And nobody thought to do any security checks. The oven works, the washing machine works, the tumble dryer works, the sink works. That's all the rights we need. You don't get given rights by the state. The state doesn't give you anything. The state only takes away and gets 3 houses to the people that work in it. So it's them who want to avoid the taxation, Angela Rayner. It's them that's got the 3 houses off your tax-paying money. You're paying taxes to fund the immigration, endless immigration. You're paying the taxes to fund their lifestyle. This is you that's doing it. So when you're asking, don't pay the BBC, yeah, don't pay it. Don't pay your council tax. If it's all going down, it's all going down together. If they're going to muck about with the whole system, then don't pay. They'll collapse first because they're parasites on the system. Let it collapse. Let it go down. Let the parasites stop feeding it the blood bank of your hard blood, sweat and tears, and stop them being parasites. The more you pay them, the more they're going to take. I'm going to explain something. So, the higher the tax rate does not necessarily mean the higher the tax receipts. So that poofy Jewish snowball that hypnotises women to make their breasts get bigger, who's that weirdo? With the Islamist sidekick, I mean, you couldn't write it. I wonder who'll be throwing who off the highest tower first. I mean, really. So we've got the gay boob improver, hypnotic boob improver, and we've got the jihadi I hate gay people as a deputy, and I mean, really, honestly, couldn't write that. But back to what I was saying. So the higher, so these twats are wanting to increase the tax receipts. Oh, we'll just increase the tax receipts, just to increase the tax. What for? What are we actually doing it for? Have we got a say in what you're spending the money on? No. So if you get a dough ball into power, he can spend it in any old shit. I could build a big statue to myself right here. If I was Baldy John, I could just say, right, taxpayers' money, I want a big statue to myself for my time served, standing here bringing you in the news. But it's about the GDP. Look, they can't grow the economy because they're socialists. They overtax, which is not increasing the tax receipts. A reduction in taxation would increase tax receipts. And they're getting less tax receipts but increasing taxes. Oh, we need to tax more to budget deficit, some bullshit, when they're spending billions of pounds on illegal immigrants coming into the country. Well, that's where your tax receipts are, that's where your taxation's going. by just allowing people to walk into the country, putting them up in hotels? Are you bonkers? Eventually, that will be 100% tax. Well, it's been up higher under these left-wing doughballs, and now, like the piss-poor country the Labour Party had this last time when there was strikes and all that, we're going to have to go back to the IMF to get dole out some money because we've got a communist, literal communist in Reeves, taking down pictures and putting up communist pictures in number 11, and now she's nearly bankrupted the country. Like wee Nippy, a great example for female leadership. Oh, come on. So, increase in taxation does not mean an increase in tax receipts. And I don't even know what these pricks are spending our money on. So what we need to do is lower taxes, let you spend more of your own money on whatever you want to spend on, and stop funding other people's problems. That is not what we do, but we need females in power, as there isn't enough. Listen, it's not about what's between a woman's legs, it's about if she's a communist scumbag or not. Like Reeves, like Nippy, they're all communist scum. Communist scum, and that's the problem. It's not necessarily because they have a vagina, but then again you've got May, who's just a shell for the globalists. You're just a shell for the globalists. So that's it, that's your problem. You've got the five parties, unless you've got somebody explicitly going against the globalist narrative. I tried to explain this to Craig and John the other night there. I'm not sure with what degree of effect it was having, but I tried to explain that it's all down the globalist stand that sit above every political party, and it's their manifesto that is pumped. Why are they pumping the Greens, for example? Because the Greens not far left, David? Yes, that's right. They're like the special needs bus of Scottish politics. They're like, have you got a retard in your local town? Well, we want to put it on the Greens. Howard Hamlet's 95% white British, I would take it, and that 2021, 39.3%. Ian Livingstone, memory volumes 666, the Balmoral Hotel years, yeah. Well, the good thing about Nicola Sturgeon is she's given us a new game at the Caledonian Games called iron tossing. So you've got to bring up your iron and throw it as far as you can and try and hit a female right in the face, and she runs away from you. So we've got iron tossing by wee Nippy at the Caledonian Games. That's what Nicola Sturgeon's legacy is going to be. So all we're getting is different shades of shit. Oh, do you like your shit really brown or light brown? Or we'll get one bunch of left-wing politics or another. So we've got the real retards and the Greens. So why would the globalists want the Green Party in if they're just a bunch of communists? Because they want to take your money away through taxation, tell you that the Green New Deal, don't forget, the same retards in America are doing the same, we've got the same retards over here, and it's a lot of commie shit, but what's actually happening is they're stealing your money and giving it to large corporations to fight climate change. Climate's always changing. Rather, who came out and said, I don't know if it was Soros or it was Gates, somebody said, if you plant more trees, that's stupid. How's it stupid? It soaks up the CO2. How's it stupid? Every political party, mainstream political party, is downstream of the globalist agenda. The globalist agenda is coming through the WEF. Some are elected, some are not. Most of the international MSN has been captured or complicit or compliant. The Treasury is the Treasury. I love CO2. Yeah, well, oxygen, CO2. I mean, it is a natural gas, but rather than sticking their hands to Van Goghs, they could actually just go out and plant trees, which would be more productive, would it not? But now we've got the doughballs in the Green Party, and they're all. But why is that part of the WEF if the WEF are a bunch of corporatist globalist businessmen? because it takes the money away from the working class, gives it to some fucking bullshit, and way much oxygen thieves on this planet. It gives it some bullshit, and it takes your money away, and it pays them for setting up wind farms and some other stuff that's probably not as effective as probably nuclear. And Baldy John can say how green he is. Oh, I'm dead green. Oh, it's great. While at the same time giving away the actual fields of renewables, which then have to be dumped in landfills, away to other foreign countries, wind and solar farmer pish. What happens if there's a massive freeze? What happens if there's layers and layers and layers of snow, and the world gets colder at some point? How are they going to sustain the renewables then? Say we get months and months of freezing cold weather because they're planting more trees, then it's to do with the CO2, and because there's less CO2, the world gets colder. We get more elongated cold patches, and in Scotland we have 3 months of snow, and we don't have any way of turning the turbines because they're frozen, or there's no electricity. Honest John, not too honest about loving young boys in skirts. Yeah, I said this. I said that there's allegations going about John. But I mean, that's another person. I mean, I don't really care if somebody's gay. The gay thing has never been a big thing for me. It's never been a big thing, a guy in a dress either. He's dishonest, Baldy John. He's dishonest, Baldy John. I don't know if these are true. These are just allegations. Solution: people have rolled over with EULAs in Glasgow, digital IDs coming. Yeah, it's all part of the overall manifesto, which is coming from the globalists. And this is the same system as in communist China, which economically they've now become a bit more fascist. They've gone, obviously Marx was a couple of pricks, Marx and Engels were a couple of pricks, their economics don't work, so they've changed from Marxian economics to, it's not exactly fascist economics, but it's in between fascist economics and corporatist economics. It's in that sort of grey area. And now they want to be able to, we've got problems with all these immigrants coming in and raping people, so we need digital facial ID, your digital currency, your digital recognition, so you can walk about. Davy, how have you heard Falkirk Council are going to remove the Saltaire flag from the lamppost? So you've elected a bunch of scumbags. The CBDs won't prolong the system. It will conclude and crash it. I only see lawful rebellion being invoked as a solution. I don't think enough people are awake just now for that to happen. Baldy John likes his baddies then. Well, that's the allegation. The allegation is that John was a paedophile. That's allegations. I don't know if it's true. Like the Sarwas, I don't know if it's true. I could probably find out. More about the Sarwas than I could about Baldy John, because he's up in Perth and I don't really know about the allegations from up in his neck of the woods. So I don't know if these are true. But I know that they're going about. I know that these allegations of being a paedophile have been going about for a number of years. But these are just allegations. If somebody said, I heard you were a paedophile, David, I would do a polygraph test. Somebody said, I heard David, I heard X, do a polygraph test and close it down. Close it down, do a polygraph test, I'll do a live polygraph test, close that down. Will you be in Edinburgh Saturday? Yeah, I will be in Edinburgh Saturday, try and make it on time. And come Saturday. Enough is enough protest. There's also a Scottish nationalist protest. I'll be going there with a Scottish Palestinian flags, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But anyway, I do feel for the people in Palestine as well. It's gone from a concentration camp allegedly to a literal wasteland as of now. And why are the other Arab countries not doing more to take these people in? And Baldy John, the traitor that he is, forget him being a paedophile, he is just a traitor, he's a real piece of shit scumbag. Let me tell you, he doesn't even have to be a paedophile to be this big a scumbag. And the fact is that none of the other Arab countries around, they were taken in, Palestinians were taken in by the Jordanians, the Lebanese, the Egyptians, and I think the Kuwaitis. And in every society, they turned on the society. That was the thanks they got. So all the other Arabs, our Arab brothers and sisters, went, oh, fuck that. And now Baldy John, the Baldy retard, and Gimp, and globalist Islamo-Marxist, and the shill for the WEF or Wookie Wefter, is now going to invite them all over here. And now we're going to be inundated with people who have had questionable history in countries where the people were the same as them. And now Baldy John is going to say, "I just come all in here." And how's that going to work? How's that going to work? How's it worked before? Why is the other Arab countries not, or the other Muslim countries not welcomed them in? Why is Hamas useless? Not ask Pakistan to invite these people into another Muslim country? Why is Hamas useless, Hamza useless, talking about Gaza more than he is the people of Pollock? That's not his job. His job is not, but that's because he's just a simp for the globalist jihad, like same as Anus. That's not their fucking job. In another part in Europe, final solution. How can people see it? In another part in Europe's final solution. Yeah, it is. If you look up the declaration of genocide, or what the UN says about genocide, we are literally being genocided ourselves. We're literally being genocided by replacement immigration by our own scum, filthy scum political class. That's what's happening. By the self-aggrandizers, by the, oh, give us your money, socialists, who didn't work for it, who actually accumulated it through them stealing other people's money through taxation and saying, oh, listen, we've got a problem that I've caused. We need to require to increase your taxes, and we'll just get 3 houses out of it. And we'll avoid paying taxes on the back of it as well. That's what we'll do. Well, we steal all your money, like Ash Sarkar said. Oh, come on. It's not about money, apparently, to socialists until it's all about the money. Well, it's about the money now that they've nearly bankrupted the country, and we're going to have to go to the IMF. They're running out of as Thatcher said, they're running out of other people's money. And now we've got a left wing, the commie Greens, the watermelon Greens. We've got your party, who are a bunch of retards. They've got the Scottish Socialist Party. We've got the Socialist Scotland Party. We've got the Labour Party. We've got the Green Party. We've got even the Liberals are basically basing themselves watermelons. We've got every shade of left-wing opinion. So if you want some variance of left-wing opinion, then you're right at home in the UK. Because that's all you're getting. You're getting various shades of shit. And not one of them has got a solution, including the Liberals and the Conservative Party. And now you've got the choice maybe of Advance UK. So and I know people are asking about what I think about Advance and reform. If people had listened to me at the last election and got reform in this election, we'd be 5 years on. We wouldn't be going through all this anti-freedom of speech bullshit from a bunch of commie scum in the Labour Party. And Nigel going over to America, they don't want solutions, more worried about what happened 1 million years ago. They don't want solutions because they can steal your money by causing the problem. Oh, what about this problem? Let's throw £6 billion at it, £15 billion at it. Oh, we've got a hole in the deficit. Well, if you hadn't let everybody in the first place, there wouldn't be a hole, would there? So, back to my point. So, if reform had got in at the last election, we wouldn't have been having all these problems with freedom of speech. Is there questionable things about Nigel? Yes, 100%. I mean, obviously, what Nigel did with me is questionable in itself, but I've forgiven him. I've forgiven him, and I think he should be elected. He's in the most electable position just now for the next election. What does that mean? Does that mean what do I think about advance? I think, depending on what Nigel, I like Rupert as well. Now, Rupert's getting older, and whether he lasts it this long was no offence to Rupert. If Nigel doesn't correct it, where's Dorothy? Where's Dorothy? The Wizard of Oz. If Nigel, see, the difficulty is, if we don't correct it now, we might not get another chance. How you doing, mate? Well, Rick Dang. If we don't correct it just now, we might not get another chance. And is Nigel going to be the correcting of this? Is Nigel going to correct the problem? What is going to be the correction? The correction will be deportations. Correction will be deportations. Nobody should be in this parliament that's not born here or born in the UK. Or being Scottish at a later date, or Northern Brythonic, as the case may be, but nobody should be in here who is not born here in this parliament as an MSP. We should not have people just parachuted in and getting ahead of the people that are here in this parliament. So that should be brought in as a rule, and I don't think people really who aren't born here should be voting in British elections either, to be honest with you, unless they're of this ilk. Apparently my friend said you have to, if you're Scottish, you have to wait a year. Davey, that beard is amazing. Well done, thanks mate. Totally agree. Why not a fan for Ben? I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Ben's. I think Ben makes a lot of sense. I don't know if Ben's the solution either, but it doesn't really. It depends on what Nigel does and says up to the next election. Depends on what thing he does. Wee Nippy, born and brought up in Newcastle. Her family are from Northern Ireland. I thought Sturgeon was actually an English name, to be honest with you, but he explained why they were trying to kill us off and with the pokey. So, what do I think, advance or reform? Well, I think reform is in the lead just now. Regardless of my own personal feelings towards Ben Habib, it's who's going to take out the globalist parties. That's what it's about. It's about what is the strategy to take down the globalists. We will Nippy move to London and get a job, loose women or something. Davey put an eviction notice up, that place, 24-hour eviction. Now, I'm not against Holyrood, by the way. Just, I know there's some of you that are abolish Holyrood. I'm not an abolish Holyrood. I'm going to get rid of the dough balls that are in here. I think if I'm in, I'll do a much better job than the crackpots that are in here already. End Holyrood rule. Yeah, I'm not an end Holyrood. I believe in Holyrood, but I think I'm quite happy for other people not to. Can you imagine the number of Islamic candidates? Labour, yeah. I don't. And it's not just going to be Labour. It's going to be Steptoe and Sons, Jezbollah Party. It's going to be the Green Doughballs. You're all going to be full of doughballs as well. If you're a retard, join the Green Party, and that's going to be their slogan. We want to turn that place into a museum of horrors of the Sturgeon regime. I don't, mate. It's not about the place. It's about who's in the place. Good points. All that's discussed as immigrants is bigger than that, and that gets rid of ULIS. Exactly, mate. Exactly. It doesn't matter. They'll do it at a local level. Do it at nationally. I prefer devolution was a big pig in a poke. No, I think if it's done properly, I think if I was to show you how it's done properly, you're going to change your mind on it. I think if you're getting people who are tackling the issues, which none of these parties are, you have to change your vote, you have to be more discerning in your vote, and you have to get out and vote. A lot of people are going, oh, well, they're a bunch of pricks. There was 22, I want to bring back border weavers system. I'm not quite sure what that is, but I'm sure you can enlighten me a later date. You have to start being discerning in your vote. You have to get out and vote, and you have to. It just created more politicians. Yes, it did, but it still brought accountability closer. Now it's about who's in there. It's not about the political class. I've tried to explain this to you. I hope I'm getting through. I think I am. They're all subservient to the globalists. So the Lib Lab Con Party, the SNP and Greens are all subservient to the Globalist Manifesto. So if you change all, just vote Conservative, the Globalist Manifesto, or just vote Labour to get rid of the Globalist Manifesto. The Globalist Manifesto sits above all political parties, including the Welsh Nationalists, including Sinn Féin. Every one of them are shills for the globalist, the GIMP agenda. What about your pal Craig Houston? I like Craig, but what Craig's doing is focusing on the symptoms. The wokey wefters, mate, exactly. They're all wokey wefters. What Craig's is doing, he's doing a great job, but he's identifying the symptoms. And I'm trying to explain to him that the problems are at a higher level, and unless he addresses the higher level, you're still going to get the spilling out in different ways, whether through local council like ULEZ or at the Westminster level. It doesn't matter where it spills out, but it will spill out some other way. It's your political parties, and you need to ask each one of them, do you believe in the European Union? That's a red flag. Do you believe in, and you can tell if they're lying because usually their lips move. Do you believe in a digital currency, central bank digital currency? Do you believe in facial ID movement? Do you believe in open door immigration? Do you believe in... So there's a number of things as a nonsense, 20 miles, exactly, 20 miles an hour is a nonsense, absolute nonsense. And it's all designed to piss you off, 15-minute cities, all the rest of the bullshit, the wokey wefter, big-brained individuals are talking shit in fucking Switzerland. And it's all just a lot of bullshit. Do you believe in life after love? Do you believe in life after love? Is that not a song? So is the SDP left-wing party? Yes, I find the confusing for a unionist. Yeah, the difficulty, Craig is very good at actually talking about the issues, the downstream issues, if I could turn back time, downstream issues that are caused by the globalists. So he's trying to fight multiple hydras at the same time, all of which are caused by the Globalist Manifesto being put in through the mainstream, all of the mainstream political parties and the MPs that are already in power, through the Treasury, who are already taking their orders from the WEF, and the unelected, this guy Blackman, who's in the Lotus Eaters, did a Freedom of Information, an FOI, on the Treasury, and basically stating that the Treasury is basically implementing the WEF's agenda. Thursday night, cheeky wee curry. I actually made curry pasta, which was unbelievable. I was eating it for the last 2 days. Put a bit of curry powder in with pasta. It was absolutely dynamite. Salsa, like that salsa you put with the tortilla sauce. What else did I have put in it? Put in a few things. It was absolutely blowing your socks off stuff. So, yeah, it's all downstream. So, Craig, love his socks. Now, Craig was did very well in helping Rangers. Now, as you know, I'm not amazing. Davey, share the recipe. I wish I could. I'll need to do it again. Okay, start recipes by David. That'll be the next thing. With love, David. That'll be it. Me, I'll be competing with Megan. And but it's all, Craig is very good at doing the stories. He's correct in a lot of things. Craig started his podcast. He's been very keen Rangers supporter one time. I think he said he was less so now. He's still a Rangers supporter. He really went through the mill for Rangers when they had bad people in positions of authority. He was having an interesting conversation with John Watt. But I don't know how political he was before. Rangers are brilliant, Davey. How political Craig was before. David does the monarchy go in your idea of any Scotland going forward? Well, you don't forget. Just now, it's very worrying that the monarchy could be captured, both Islamically and by the WEF. So we might have the monarchy is meant to be apolitical. I would say there's been pictures of Charles since the probably the 70s with Klaus Schwab. So that's been a full all my life that they've been together, and the implementation of what the WEF have been doing. So Charles would literally be the deep state, and the implementation of what the WEF have wanted in the UK for what the deep state's objectives are. And I think William, I don't know how, I'm hoping for better things from William, but I'm not sure how compromised William's been. He's certainly, why are the kings that have been called Charles absolutely abysmal? So I don't know if he's I think he's been captured by the Islam, and he's been captured by the WEF and the agenda of the one world religion between the WEF and that mob want to incorporate as a one world religion for the one world system. They're trying to develop open borders, governance. The king is Liddy, circumcised too, Charlie boy, is he? Oh, aye. So, but in Scotland we have the right to create our own king. In 1320, with the people after Bannockburn, and the people said that we can actually create our own king out of the people that are here. So we have King David the first, and I don't think he is the first. In fact, I think there is another Scottish King David. But UK cops now getting sick of what's going on. Yeah, it literally could be an open revolution. Could be an open revolution. And because the king's compromised, the deep states, that explains why the deep state's compromised. That explains why a lot of the actual things that are actually happening are actually happening. Why the treasury is compromised. I don't know how people can still support Glasgow, Celtic. I can't read the rest of that. King of Scotland needs to be descendant of Kenneth MacAlpine. Well, to be fair, the Scots were an invading Irish tribe. That's unfortunately the reality. The Scots invaded Dalriada. So they're literally the Ulster Scots of Dalriada who invaded what is now Scotland. But the reality is, yes, the pirates. And the reality is the indigenous population here are the Northern Celtic Britons. We are the Britons of Northern Britain. Briton. We are the Britons. Kenneth MacAlpine was half Gael, half Pict. Well, the Picts were more than likely Britons, or Brythonic. And probably the Pictish was some sort of dialect from Brythonic. And the Britons, it was the Britons. Like William Wallace was more than likely a Briton and not a Scot, ethnically. Don't forget the Britons were an ethnic group. The Scots were an ethnic group. I don't think the Picts were an ethnic group. I think they were a tribe of the Britons. And don't forget, you had Brythonic names all the way up Scotland into what would be Pictland. And you've got the invasion by the Scots. So St Patrick was a Briton. I don't know, I'm not quite sure if St Patrick was a Briton or not. But the Picts were Britons, yes, and their royal line got killed by the Vikings, hence the kingdom. Yeah. So even with the Scots, so the Scots were up in the Highlands, up the west coast, on the islands and highlands. And they had come over, kilts, tartan, bagpipes, the full shebang. And they had invaded at the same time the Germans, English had invaded in the south. So, pincer movement. But the people that were here, which are never really talked about, are the indigenous Celtic Britons. That's who is actually, that's why you've got the king of the Britons, because the Britons are the people that are originally here. Anywhere with Pitt or Aberdeen, Aber is Brythonic in nature. There you go. So you've already got up the west coast. So what happened was the Gaels or the Irish or the Irish Scots, they're all the same. Dalriadans, all the same. Means all the same. We're going from west to east. Aberfeldy, Aberdeen, Pitt, Weeman, etc. Yeah, preach Davy. So when they were coming across in the 5th century, they were coming across the Highlands. But the Picts were already there. It was the Picts that stood up against Rome. But so did the Britons as well. What would be the Southern Britons? I thought I was a Celt, actually, more Norman, according to the DNA. It's quite interesting, the DNA. I'm going to do Stop Your Bullshit About Britain podcast about who actually is from here. So the Irish came over, the Irish Scots came over from Ulster, invaded up in the Highlands, started up the clannish systems, moved west, and instead started to buffer up against the Brythonic pricks. It didn't really come south. I don't know if there was any fights. I'm a Norse Gael, so there you go, Norse Gael Saxon, there you go. Do that podcast, Davey, right? So then the Vikings invaded before the 10th century, up to the 10th century, and basically fucked the women that were there, and now you've got the Norse Gaels, as you do in Ireland. You've got the Norwegian Gaels, Kingdom of Strathclyde. Kingdom of Strathclyde goes all the way down to Cumbria, but that was just the Britons. They were just the Celtic Britons who were originally here. Was Britain kingdom in the west. The Brythonic kingdom was all up and down. There was different tribes, but it was the kingdom of the Britons. Dublin was a Viking slave port. Yeah. So you've got this is all part and parcel. So the Vikings came over, raped and pillaged all down the west coast, get beaten by the Britons at the Battle of Largs. So you've got to remember, William Wallace was a Briton, not probably Scottish. Edinburgh was part of the Saxon Northumbria, correct? But before that it was Brythonic, hence why Borough, Saxon, town fort, yeah. So this place is Godalming, we have to decolonise. So the Irish Gaels, the Scots, Ulster Scots, who invaded northern Britain, right above the wall, who the Romans couldn't defeat, were invaded by then the Vikings. So the Vikings then started raping the Ulster Scots, the Gaels. They were the actual Ulster Scots. Edward Bruce was Northern Ireland and tried to colonise it. No, what happened, the Bruces were part Norman, part Scandinavian, and part Irish. So they were part Irish anyway. The Western Isles and the Orkneys were Norwegian up to the 4th century. Yeah, they were invaded. They were invaded by the Normans, the Norwegians, all down the west coast, all where they'd been colonised by the Ulster Scots, or the Dalriadans, or whatever you want to call them, the Gaels, whatever it is you want to call them. That was all invaded land of northern Britain, Briton. It's the Britons that were first here. Norman are French Vikings, that's right, buddy. So Robert the Bruce was part Norman, part Irish, and that's why he sent his brother over, the three kings, he sent his brother over to help his Irish brothers, which the O'Neills came and helped him out. So we had already had the plantation by the Irish in Britain. I should have done a podcast with this alone, but the Irish in Northern Britain, they were the original plantationers. Robert the Bruce's ancestors fought at Hastings 1066, of course, because they were part Norman, so they were part of that Norman class. part Irish, part Norman. But William Wallace, so don't forget Wales. So Wales is English, German, stroke German for foreigner. So what they were calling the Welsh, so the Britons in Scotland were called Welsh. So they were calling the invading Germans were calling us foreigners. Scotland shat itself from the Normans because of the harrying of the north of England. Yeah, well, it was the Midlands of Celtic Britain, the north of England, but they killed a lot of probably Britons for the harrowing of the north. And they murdered a lot of people. Scotland just went, please come in. Please come in. I probably did. I don't think we need the harassment. Just take over. So, yeah, that's it. I mean, that's part and parcel of it. But this is Godalming. The indigenous population are not Scots; they're the Britons, and the line should go back to the Celtic Britons of Northern Britain. That's where the line should be. It doesn't really matter if it's a Scots pick or a. They are refugees are welcome here. They said refugees are welcome here first. That's true. And look at what they've done. So I think that's the issue. We've got issues here from what's actually happened in the past. So we've got all these things that are happening, and I tried to explain this to Craig Houston, and God love his Cotton Rocks as well. And him and John, they're great guys. They're doing some great stuff. Go and support them. They're fighting at what actually comes out. What they're doing is going to the local level of what's coming downstream. I try to explain this from the globalist agenda, and they're not addressing the globalists, which is what you're going to have to address to actually go against the globalist agenda. There's not much point in putting out we Fires team up with Neil Oliver. I'll talk to Neil anytime he wants. Just tell him guerillatvchannel at gmail.com anytime, Neil. You're putting out forest fires, a wee bits of fire here and a wee bit of fire over there, and not dealing with where the main source of the fire's coming from. And maybe there's nothing wrong with what they're doing. I agree with what they're doing. I think what they're doing is correct. I just don't think they're looking at the bigger picture, and I don't think they're addressing the bigger picture. Neil Oliver seems like a nice geezer, and Neil Oliver is understanding the bigger picture. He's a big picture looker. Neil and I having a conversation would be very entertaining, and I think he would actually understand what I'm saying to him. He's really... he's come on leaps and bounds by listening and talking to so many people as well. You get educated by listening and talking to people and listening to what they're saying, especially if they know more on a specific subject. Conversation of the Beards should be called, yes, the Battle of the Beards. My pal set up a thing called the Beautiful Bearded Bastards and something else, but that was hilarious. They had to change it to the 3 Bs because people were getting upset by the name. So, let me try and conclude, if possible. Let me try and state what the situation is. Is Evans going to take over? Are anyone aware of Richard Leonard of the Scottish Family Party's sneering criticism and take down? Oh, I missed that. I'll look at these comments later as well, guys. Don't worry. If I haven't managed to read out the full comment, I'll look at it later. I'll look at both your comments under the videos and also the live comments as well. And I'll try and answer them in later videos. So we've got a king that's into Islam and into the WEF, a Wokie Wefter. Prince William, although I think he's attended some of these, I don't know how much of a Wefter he is. It'll be very concerning if he has been compromised. I don't know for a fact if he has. He always comes across quite soundly. So I'm not anti Prince William at this precise moment. For me, he's not put anything out of place. The worrying thing is he's a continuum of Charles, and he becomes a Wokie Wefter. David loves his baby gorillas. Love my baby gorillas. And that's why we will get a continuum potentially of the aristocracy and the deep state. And that's the concerning thing from that point of view. We are also potentially going to get a split on the right. Now, there's multiple splits happening on the left. It's like, which bunch of dough balls are we going to vote for that's going to cause the most damage? Scottish Socialist Party, the Socialist Workers' Party, Uncle Steptoe and Steptoe, the Labour Commie Party, the dough balls and the Greens. I mean, it's like, let's pick a bunch of retards and let's get them voted in. That was someone peeping their horn because they are a baby gorilla. They do, they love the baby gorillas, yeah they do. So, and that's all downstream. So we are effectively, regardless of the current political parties, being governed by an unelected Quango in Davos, who are now blocking our freedom of speech, by a bunch of communists in Westminster, and they're blocking freedom of speech and trying to prevent us from actually discussing the issues that they are putting on us. And there's 6 women trying to dismiss the mass rapes of Muslim rapists because their prophet was a rapist and think it's okay. And they're Charlotte Church, and so rape's okay as long as you're a Muslim. Is that what it is? Or it's just all white men that rape women, and it doesn't matter that that girl in the Netherlands was raped and murdered. She was phoning the police didn't arrive, and the Muslim raped and murdered her. Not the first time. I bet there'll be a huge collage of people who have died since the open door immigration by the communist scum, by the globalist scum. So they hate per capita. So yeah, so that's part and parcel of what's actually happening. So is advance going to be better than reform? And what is the downside of reform? Advance taking over now as reform has built a lead and could win a general election. Well, you're going to have to figure this one out yourself. Is what Nigel is going to say about, and he's been very wishy-washy on it, the mass deportations of individuals who are in the UK and shouldn't be, and is that going to mean that he deports them, or do we think Ben Habib is going to deport them? Because there's people who are required to be deported. It's as simple as that. There are people here. So not only are we getting a mass importation of individuals, we're getting a reduction in women having children here. So we're getting enforced feminism and all the rest of the bullshit that happens here. Women aren't having 3 and less children. Oh, we're not. Our population's not inclining. We're going to get an older population. We'll start having sex then. We're allowing these idiots in to actually replace us. We're not having sex just now. They're taking jobs. It's all a ploy. They're taking jobs. We're not doing the jobs that we could have been doing, and women are not having children. And then we've got to bring in more to replace us because the women aren't having children. What? So this is illegal under international law. It would go against ethnic replacement, and people could go to jail. Not to mention the fact that the mass rapes of children, the cover up by the Labour Party, could be seen as a war crime, and these individuals could be going to jail in the Labour Party. So they could be getting locked up for war crimes. They don't care. They don't, because they don't feel it. They don't feel that they're ever going to be liable. So they're above the law. Currently they are, because they are the law. Just like we nippy in here. Multiple deaths, non-resuscitation orders, taking the jab, experimental jabs, forcing it on people through coercion, putting people with COVID in old folks' homes. What else did she do? What's she up for? What's the 4,000? For the old people's homes, but she also did other things. Can't remember what the other one is. Sheer battery. So that's part of and parcel of what's happening just now. So is advance going to be better than reform? Well, reform is just about to break the political dichotomy. It's all about breeding. My bairns are breeders. I taught eugenic racism where I missed that. It's all about breeding. But if you inbreed, you're going to destroy the line anyway. So if you inbreed, you're not going to have any way of actually continuing the line, because eventually it goes infertile, it goes sterile. What happened to the Habsburgs? Had their balls all shriveled up and all that, no testy. So, and the same thing was happening, it reduces IQ. There's many things that happen from inbreeding. So, is reform going to be the thing? She went was a Catholic, so it was a mixed marriage. Calm down. I don't know what you're talking about. Catherine was Catherine a Catholic? It's a mixed marriage. Is that what you're saying? So advanced and reform. So in Scotland, after 1320, we can call our own king. We can make our own king out of our own people, whether it be Scots, Pictish, or anything else, or Brythonic, or whatever. That doesn't really matter, but we can pick our own king out of the people. If we feel that the king is not doing, is on the ball and doing the correct job, we can pick from our own. So, advance or reform, King David, that would be good, that sounds good. So the fact is that advanced or reform are in a position where they could break the duopoly of the Labour and the Conservative Party. And they're now in a position, this is the first time ever, and I've managed to get them to that position. Anglo-Norman would be better from the Lothians. I'll be king. I think everybody's going to be king. I think we're going to have to do it on a rotational basis. Right, Jim, you're on for 10 minutes, your turn. Can you imagine the thick ones? The wall punchers. Do you think an advanced government would do any good for Scotland? No. I don't think reform's going to be great for Scotland. I think UK, yes. We was kings. We could all get a shot at being kings. Pass the hat over, William. Prince William is uncomfortable with Christianity, is he? Well, he may be an atheist, but if he's certainly fallen, if he's... The WEF want a one-world religion as well, so they want a one-world government, a one-world religion. So they don't forget they might be moving for that. War, pissing, win, lads, no political solution, bros, rammies coming. Yeah, well... I mean, it's the least thing you want to do. It's the last thing you want to do. But the way that this is being gerrymandered, it reminds me of Independence Day when the ships came over the different things, the hotels and all that, isn't it? Or we're just going to stick these dudes all in your hotels, and if they rape your wife and children, well, that's probably your fault, isn't it? Certainly not the Labour Party's or the Globalists' fault, is it? Well, Northern Ireland doing the Troubles is going to look like a wee picnic. Well, I'm telling you, don't think people... The Beaters is what's his face? Who's Beaker out of the Muppets? The one that's taking... Who's the leader of the Greens? Beaker. That's taking the... What do you call it? The... what's it called? What's the thing called? The hormone blockers. Lived in Ulster. My dad was Royal Scots, County Antrim on tour. So he's, I think Beaker's taken, what's his name? No, it's not Patrick Harvey. Who's the wee Fanta Pants? Who's Fanta Pants? Come on, my baby gorillas, who's Fanta Pants out of the Greens? Beaker. Beaker out the Muppets. It's on Ross Greer. Thanks, Johnny boy. Thanks. So you wouldn't want him standing against you, would you? A strong fart would blow him over. He's the ultimate beater. Oh, listen, what do you mean? Oh, we need some beta quasi-queer guys that are built like the gable end of a fiver. And political power in Scotland, they're going to be really very successful. Hi, mummy. Dave the Silver Fox keeps saying, "Oh, where's Bitty?" Bitty. Yeah. I mean, really, honestly, staggering. He won the Beta Male Competition Championship 2025. Yeah, and that's what got him elected as the leader of the Greens. Look up Beaker, the Muppets, and tell me it's not Ross Greer. So, if it's a bunch of beaters like Ross Greer, a strong fart will knock him right over, wouldn't it? I mean, really, honestly. And I'll do something about them later on tonight, because I think, Resisting the Lies, he's a good guy. Resisting the Lies did an actual show on him, on the Greens, having a chat. It's like 5 morons trying to debate something. I mean, really, honestly, I'll do something that later on the next day or so. From Resisting the Lies. You got a stream of it. Resisting the Pies. Yeah, Resisting the Pies. Some of them like Fat, what's her name? There's a lot of fatties like Fat Lemon. Fat Lemon. I don't know what her name is. Wee Fat Lemon. Laugh out like John. Fat Lemon and Fat, what's her name for Dumbarton? Wee Jackie. Wee Bailey Jackie. Say time, great minds, yeah. Wee Moat and Bailey Jackie. She's like the fat Marie Antoinette, and she, I'll just let them all eat cake. So, let's sack them all. There was 21 political parties at the last Scottish election, and I'm sure there's certain ones of them that are going to be better than the parties in here. I don't think any of them are in here in any great shapes. What about the Blue Lagoon? What, the film? Or the Chippy? I don't know if it's. Look at how beautiful this is, man. Look. Yeah. So it's whether or not you want to change advance for reform while reform are winning, and it's whether or not reform are going to, or advance are going to do a better job of deportation, and Rupert Lowe says Nake in the Blue Lagoon. Mrs. works round the corner from where you stand. Mrs. works round the corner. Do that shit, aye. So, it's whether or not advance can replace reform to get it to 22%, or are you just going to split the vote? Are you better letting reform win this one and advance getting the next one? If Nigel doesn't do a good enough job, Nigel doesn't really need any reform MPs in here. I don't know if necessarily in a Scottish context whether reform are going to be that great. If I get the political party you can vote Valentine, we will be that great. But I don't know if Nigel knows that much about Scottish internal politics and he's going to be that much better than anybody else. Don't know that just now. But at Westminster level, yeah, definitely vote. We are on making plans for Nigel. We are only making plans for Nigel, yeah. So, but I don't know how good he's going to be in here. I don't necessarily think whether he wins a lot of seats or a few seats in here, it's going to be that much different. Tidy, wee thing, 5'2", blue eyes, blonde hair, size 8. Insatiable was, I can't read. No, I missed the last of that. So, we get the new Scottish flag with all the Scottish nationals. Yeah, so I'm not quite sure if that's going to be a political decision that will be worth taking, sitting with the reform at 28%, and if advanced Doberman. She sounds absolutely amazing. And there's you chatting up women when I'm talking politics. She's a good woman. The I don't know if you're going to replace reform even just now to 28% so that there would be an advance rather than a reform government. I don't know if that process is going to be too quick. I'll tell her Guerilla is outside by right back. Hope she is not a lefty. Is she coming on for a chat? I don't know if that can be done. I don't know if Advance could switch to 28% in the polls. There's still 3 years till the next Westminster election, and I don't know if that could actually be done. If it could actually be switched from Reform to Advance, and that switch would be possible. Don't forget, Rupert Lowe has not joined Advance yet. I don't know if there's a mass. I understand the criticisms with Nigel and Reform, and I'm not sure about what the process would be to actually change that. And I don't know if it's like Nigel's turn, but I still don't know if Nigel's going to be brutal enough that he's going to change the UK to a better format. And so there's a lot of variables there. You know, I'm usually precise in what I tell you, but there's still a lot of variables just now that I can still reflect on over the next year or so, because we will still be 2 years away from the next Westminster election. I can reflect over the next year and a bit and give you a better conclusion over in maybe about 18 months' time about what I think about the Advance versus Reform dichotomy. And of course, if I was you, my baby girl's possible Nigel is just a Tory and really doesn't want to do what's needed. Yeah. Well, I've said that already. I told you. I said that I think Nigel is a Thatcherite back I tell her. And I told her, I said that Nigel was a Thatcherite. And everybody then started saying in mainstream media that Nigel was a Thatcherite. And I heard it here first. I said that he was a Thatcherite, and then the MSN started saying, because you know they're getting their in-depth political analysis from me. So you know they're getting their in-depth political analysis from me. They know that I'm first to get a lot of things. They know that if they watch me, they will, and they then have larger platforms because this is getting check the dauber with wee blood and soil bro, wee meanie frigo. So they knew he was a Thatcherite. The MSN have got a bigger platform. We're getting shadow banned, and we have done for the last number of years. I was saying to John and Craig that regardless of what they do, my platform here will always only get a small amount because it's already been shadow banned. There's been a reduction in the search availability. So when you search for something, that has been up. There's over 600 videos. You may well not find the video. And this has been done. It's not because of them, or it's not if their channel does well, my channel doesn't. It's nothing to do with that. This has been going 8 years, and I already know that this is coming through Silicon Valley, but probably from Westminster. First time we've popped in my feed for ages. Exactly. There you go. There you go. Scottish Parliament. Oh, there you go. There you go. Thanks very much. Somebody's put it up, I think, on X. Good man. Are the Gimps just simps too? The Globalist Islamo-Marxist Party are everybody's simps for the Globalists. It's the Globalists and the jihadis and the communists. So they're all working. It's communist economics for you, and Islamic world dominance for the religious system, which they'll tweak and but run by big simping. It's run by the cabal, the free cabal from the horrible jocks. Free cabal from the horrible jocks. It's run by the globalists. They've already sort of shown it. It's a bit like the Hunger Games. It's the Hunger Games in political personification. The king of Kabbalah. So that's it. So that's what we're talking about the Hunger Games. It's going to be the corporatist class. They're all going to be having sex with children and doing stuff like that. Sex slaves. And completely legitimate because of the religion. And they're going to have all the money. And you're going to be the underclass, which you're going to all be communists. You're all going to be equal. He is in the woods in Edinburgh. He is in the woods. The woods. So, I'm certainly in the wilds, man. Check this out. So, yeah, that's it. That's it. I think we've really covered quite a fair bit just now. I was hoping to come down and get the women. And every time I come down and try and cover the women won't wish. The TERFs versus the trannies. There's an African tribe moved into the borders, called themselves the Kingdom of Kabbalah, is it? Windswept and interesting, aye. Windswept and comb over. It's unbelievable, honestly. I swear to God, I can't wait to get a haircut. And yeah, they are all too busy in the coffee shop. They're all too busy in the coffee shop. So, I mean, really, honestly, there is major problems ahead. It's going to take people with very clued up politics. It's going to take people with very. You look like the captain in this boat. The captain in this boat. You're going to have to get people with very clued up politics who are going to be able to dismantle things at the international level so that it doesn't go on. So that there's a stop to this, so that they can, rather than putting out the fires at a local level, Kabbalah forever, I start wearing a turtleneck. I think I'll go and join them in the woods and the borders. The white convert. That's hilarious. Count Dankula says, please don't move them. He's got hours of footage that he wants to get out to the populace. He thinks that's going to be his money tree, those guys down the wood. I think Dank's going to go down and actually join them, and he's going to be sitting about with them as the king. You can just picture him and the king sitting together, can you? Away back to Ireland with your cousins. I mean, it's quite incredible, isn't it? All these wee hidden gems that you would never have thought that Africans would move into the woods somewhere and start up their own kingdom. I mean, really. There's a fuzz. So, I think that's it. I think I've said everything. I've been banging on here for over an hour and a half come up for. But I think we've sort of covered everything. I've not really covered what I wanted, which was the women, which was the TERFs versus the trannies. The penis haters versus the penis havers. The people that want to get in women's rooms. And that's another thing. I've never seen any trans man trying to get into the men's toilets. Where are they? I've never walked down and go, oh, that dude's not got a penis. Never seen that. Never seen it. Never seen an inundation. Only once. I've never seen an inundation of women trying to get in the guys' toilets. It's never happened. It's always the guys trying to get in the women's toilets, isn't it? And don't forget, obviously, I'm a trans woman. I'm a trans African lesbian, super straight lesbian. So this is in the dichotomy of the trannies versus the TERFs. The women-hating lesbians that have tried to incorporate their men-hating lesbians into feminist heterosexual women, and the tranny gay men who want to get into women's spaces. I don't know if they're gay or they're fruity, let's just say. I was going to call them perverts, but let's just say fruity, and want to wear women's dresses and still have dinkles in women's spaces. I mean, I was hoping to get some interviews down here and see the dichotomy of positions and get some interviews on it, but unfortunately we missed it. And we got the genocide, what's happening, genocide or fighting, what's happening in the Middle East. So I think that's it. I think I've been scunnered and I've not got what I require to get, unfortunately. And yeah, my baby gorillas, hope you enjoyed that.